We're live. Okay. Hello. Sorry, we're a little bit late, but you shall forgive us because we're reading charts today. So this is the Illuminated Archetype, and today we are going to be reading a bunch of charts with people who have the influencer archetype in their design. So Bella and I do this every Tuesday. We are weaving and bridging the gap between the human design and gene key systems, and we are bringing the archetypes to life through the bridging. So I don't know where Bella went. Oh, she's sharing everything. So anyways, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pulling up some charts. There were tons and tons of people with the 8. It was so hard to pick people. And we were even going down to the wire because some of the resolution of the ones that you were sharing was not good enough. So we couldn't do yours. So as a note, make sure you share your human design and your gene key charts because that usually gives you a little bit of a advantage for us picking you because we like to have both. And make sure your resolution is very good because that's another indicator of whether we'll choose you or not. So without further ado, we are going to be jumping into some charts. And if we need to, if we have extra time, we'll go into Living Matrix. We may go into my group, Your Life by Design, and we may go into GP Global because that's where we posted, the 3 different places that we posted for the 8. And like I said before, there was overwhelming response to the 8. So a lot of you have the 8 in your design, the influencer in your design. So I'm excited to dive in and see what comes up for each of you. So in advance, sorry if we don't get to your chart. There's just not enough time in the world for all of you contagious influencers. There are a ton of you. So let me share.
And I would also say, even if we don't pull up your chart and you have the 8, especially if you have it in your gene key profile, then it is going to be an important one for you. And I'm sure that by watching this today, you're going to learn about the 8 and how it shows up. So it's not in vain if you watch this and it's not there. I would say you still are going to learn about this archetype because it is even if you have the 1, like I have the 1, it's like super activated for me this week to feel both the 1 and the 8. So it's interesting.
Yes. Okay, so let's see who we're diving into. So we have Erica Kita first. I believe she was from Gene Key Global Group. So Erica has, oh, look, there's the 2. Erica has the 8. The influencer archetype is resting in her SQ sphere, in her gene keys. And you can see that in the unconscious Venus in the human design chart. And she is a generator. 4-1 sacral authority. So let's see what other archetypes she has. She has the warrior archetype twice, the feminine once, and the discoverer archetype, the 17. Yes. Okay, cool. Let's dive into this. I'm going to see what we pull out of Erica's chart.
I mean, I feel like a very powerful chart here because we have the cross of correction. It's a 4-1, I think. Yeah, so it's a fixed fate. Already that it's like you are here to live out that integrity in your life's work. It's really that's the sun of your life, right? And to understand what is integrity for you, what's perfection for you, what's correction for you somehow. And then the 39 and the 38 that are in your root center, which is one of the few defined centers. So you are going to be the student of life. And then at the end of the day, you're going to kill the teacher. That's who you are.
Yeah, very, very open, very receptive. This person only has the 4253 as their only defined channel. And so I mean, the fixed fate is like you're going to have this karma, this dharma that's going to be laid out for you so that you can figure out what you are the warrior of. I feel like your soul has something it stands for, something that it wants to share with the world. It's very deep within your bones. And so you are here to have these different experiences in community, in as a server, right? As a contributor, you're here to be receptive, because that feminine essence that you have in your vocation is here to receive and here to also lead the way. But to do that, you have to kind of tap into that warrior inside of you and also find that uniqueness that you have, because that uniqueness is what's going to open your heart, sharing that with the world. And it is safe to share that influencer archetype, that diamond of the self within you with others. You do not have to repress that for fear of authority or fear of somebody telling you that it's wrong or judging you. It's okay to be unique. And I feel like too, with a lot of that warrior archetype, it's going to be hard for you to tap into the feminine. And that's probably why it's in your vocation, because it's your wounding. You were separated by the great mother. You were separated by her in the womb, right? You were cut, snipped from your mother, snipped from the cosmic mother. And so the wound is of separation. And odds are, unconsciously or consciously, you probably are like, I can't connect to that mother inside me. I can't connect to that feminine inside me. It was cut from me. So maybe I don't need that. And maybe you've lived a more hyper masculine life. I don't know what that trajectory was, but I do know that it is important for you to connect into that and be that that visionary too, because I feel like the feminine knows the way. It's taking you in that direction, but you have the sixth line, so it's this overarching view as well. So there's something, I mean, it's you have two six lines in your gene key profile. So this is kind of like, what are you being the visionary for? What are you sharing? What direction are you pointing people in? And with this fixed fate, it's like you're going in that direction and nobody's going to be able to stop you, as long as you are embracing and living in integrity with this direction you're going in, and not compromising that for anyone. What would you say, Bella?
Yeah, well, I see that we have again 2.6 for in this chart, and this is the core wound. So I would say watch the video about Sedna, because this is where Sedna, the asteroid, was discovered. That has to do with the wound. So to have the wound in the position of the wound is powerful. I also feel that my mom has a vocation line 6 and SQ, exactly the same SQ. So there is something quite deep here to have that core wound of separation and then have a first line SQ and kind of come into this world and maybe not feeling completely safe in this world. But the way back is to say, like Sedna says, I accept anything. I trust anything. I trust fear, I trust pain, I trust everything. And that's how I tap into my unique style. And there is something very powerful with that second gene key, which we were in not long ago, last week or the week before. You have it also in your moon. So you have the vocation and the drive, the conscious moon is a second line. So that feminine archetype is there. And I would say that the 8 is feminine also, because it's also in the ring of water. So there is so much femininity on the inside. And then what wants to come out of you, it has to do with the 45. But the 45 is funny because it's also like a Gemini energy. So there is something of a leader that is just, it's almost like you have two faces. You have this deep feminine, like reaching down to where your safety is and coming up, trusting everything in the world. And then this other side that is what you were saying more, Ashley, more of a warrior and finding your integrity, your perfection, your style in this world. And the EQ is about superabundance, but it's going to come when these two sides of you somehow can make friends and be part of that expression, all the colors of all the range of emotions. It's like that's the emotion. There's one light, but then there's a whole spectrum. So that it's important for you also, I would say, next 23, to not only choose one way of expressing your emotions. Some people always get angry. Some people always get like, there's always different ways. But how can you have that whole abundant range of expressing how you feel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much more that I want to say, and I kind of have to bite my tongue because I know that we have a lot of people that we need to illuminate as well, but definitely let us know how you resonate. Erica is on watching right now, so let us know if anything like really stuck or hit home for you. There's more that I would say about the 38. There's more that I would say about that channel that you have, the 5342. It's a format gate, and if with this fixed fate profile, I feel like there's a lot to talk about, the cycles and the phases of your life, and what you can the juice that you can suck out of these different experiences, people, relationships. So I would love to have another conversation with you, Erica. So if you want to reach out to us, I am open to going deeper with you. So I hope that this was helpful, and I'm so glad that you're on live. So really let us know what you thought of this. So this is Holly. And Holly, we're seeing a lot of twos again.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Holly is a manifester, emotional manifester, so emotional authority. And she has the 8 sitting in her culture sphere. Let's see if it's anywhere else. I see the 8 culture sphere. Yeah, in the culture sphere. Awesome. Okay, so the 8's in the culture sphere. So she has the influencer sitting here. She has the feminine here. Any other archetypes that I can see? We have Grace, the invitation, and probably a bunch more in her human design chart. But so far, those are the different archetypes that she has weaved throughout her gene key profile. So again, with the Pearl sequence, we don't have access. I mean, we have access to that. Your style and your uniqueness can bring you prosperity. All you have to do is tap into that and allow that to be seen by others, and that is what's going to bring prosperity and manifest that abundance into your life. So we can get access to this, but to have this complete Pearl sequence, again, it's about tapping into our gifts that we have in this activation sequence. This is our purpose. And then we have our partnerships in the Venus sequence. And through the opening of our heart, we have more access to the different expressions and iterations of this Pearl sequence that can just, explode so much into our lives as we are called to this higher sense of service. So this influencer archetype is in your Pearl sequence. So this is where you're being called to be a server at a higher expression. How would you dive us into this, Bella?
I would say that a manifester, that's 8% of the population. And these are the times where I feel like it's looking at the human design is important. We see a special chart here, I would say. It's a manifester, but it's kind of a power manifester, because we actually have 5 centers that are filled in, that are defined, and there's extremely defined throat. So, and being a manifester with all these ways of expressions, and also having 3 channels going to the throat, that is a specific chart. And it's here to, it's a 4-6. It's here to express about the future. It's what I feel. And it has tricky gates in the incarnation cross, or in the activation sequence. I always feel like the 45 and the 26 are quite tricky in their way. And I always feel like the 22 and the 47 is kind of Jesus in the cross. So it's kind of, even in your physical vehicle, even your DNA, there has been this oppression, there's been this dishonor. And it's like you are here now to become a role model for your truth, with all these gates and channels from the throat. And there's leadership, and there's the creative role model, and there is this openness that is connected, what makes you an emotional manifester, the 22-12. And then we also have the wanderer, the million ideas, and also the capacity in the 56, which is, I think it's your vocation, the capacity to also manifest those in the world. They're not just ideas in your case. There are a million ideas that's where you come from, your self mode. There's so many ideas, but it's also this possibility. Your vocation is to manifest those ideas in the world, being an emotional manifester. And what I feel with this chart is that being a 4-6 and having a 6 line in your, if you look at the pathway of individuation, a 6 line in your purpose, a 6 line in your attraction, a 6 line in your SQ, there is something with you when I feel like we would hear you, but wouldn't necessarily know from the beginning that you are a manifester. Because the 4-6 makes it kind of, it takes it down to make it more about the heart and more about the vision. So we're not going to feel like you're just like, kind of this, like, how do you say, this train that just goes. It's going to be more nuanced for you, is what I feel. And I mean, that's kind of what I want to start to say. I'm speaking so much, Ashley. How do you like? What do you feel when you see this, and maybe tapping in more to the things you were saying in the beginning? I think you're muted, Ashley. Or did I?
Oh, I am muted. I'm muting myself. Let yourself speak. I would just say that for as a manifester, it's so important for you to tap into like how you're saying things. I know that as a 4/6, you probably have this sweetness about you too. I'm not sure how much of that manifester qualities you're expressing in the world, but there is a lot of leadership in this chart. And if you are listening to I don't know, to that voice inside of you, and you're not getting distracted by the outside world, you have this potential to like really speak from the heart and really touch people. And when you're able to share your emotions and your experiences with people, it's just really going to resonate with them. So it's important for you to share your heart, share that leadership, that innate leadership that you have within you, and be yourself. It's like give yourself permission to just be yourself. I know that a lot of manifestors can struggle with being shut down as children, because you're here to lead, you're here to create, you're here to be the visionaries, you're here to be the creators. And so it's about like reclaiming that leadership that was maybe like separated from you, or like like pushed away from you when you were a kid, because it's like too much, especially with that 2212 channel. Those waves could be really really tough. And if you weren't given a space to give voice to your emotions, or someone was shutting you down too much, you weren't able to have that opportunity to have transmutation occur in your throat, in your voice, by sharing it. Things were probably going on where a lot of it was repressed because it was too much. So I would say that as long as you can tap into that, you're an emotional authority. You're here to know how to ride the waves and also share what you've been through with your emotion. I mean, that's your channel. You have the 8 and the 1 and the 12 and the 22. So I feel like, there's other channels too, but those are really important for you, sharing your heart and sharing your emotions through your voice. I mean, you have tons of really great ideas and things to bring through and conceptualize, but it's so much easier to share from the mind than it is to share from the heart and the emotions. So that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to point back to the EQ line 1, what you were saying, Ashley, that there can be repression and even self-sabotage if you're not able to express your truth, your emotions. You have the 2212 channel that want you to express, and that's also your north node, the purity of expression. And what I wanted to point at is like when you're an idealist, you're a visionary, you're a role model, all these 6 lines in your both in your profile and in your path of individuation, you're with that idealism, that vision. The important thing is to not let anything turn that off for you. Not going into disappointment, not going into guilt or blame, like allowing that idealism to still be that light in your life. And then you are going to access that feminine leadership. You have the ring of water, the pearl and the culture. That is Gene Key 1 and Gene Key 2 and Gene Key 8. There is a very feminine leadership. And even the 6 line, the SQ, that is this part of the pearls, you could say as well, has that quality of the example of a leadership that is not, it's not a tribal leadership. It's almost like a reluctant leadership where we need to pull on you in that 31-6. In the SQ. So very feminine leadership. And yeah, I feel like as a 4/6, always nurture your vision and surround yourself with people that can nurture that vision. And then it's going to be natural for you to express the truth from that throat that is so defined. Now you're muted again, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Holly, for sharing your chart with us. I keep muting myself to like, if planes go over, I'm like, I don't want that to pick that up. So thanks for reminding me. Let's move on to the next chart. Thank you, Holly. So this is Sabi. Sabi has the influencer in the pearl, sitting in the pearl of the pearl sequence. They also have the mother archetype, the 37, the inventor archetype. And what's the 62 again?
The detective? No.
No, that's a 63. I don't know. I don't know what the 62 is. What is the
done that yet?
What are the frequencies of the 62? How come I'm forgetting this one? This
We
is an
didn't do
important
it.
one. We're forgetting, huh?
We did a 61. The 62 is going to be in the summer, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the language of light. That one is precision. Okay, got it. And then we have the originator archetype right here. We will be moving into the 16th archetype soon, so that's exciting. Lots of cool archetypes, and the feminine. Again, feminine is nestled in the vocation sphere. Again, this one's a 2.5. We've seen the 2.6 in this location earlier. So.
I mean, there is something with this one that is very similar. I think they might be born in the same year as Holly, because I see Pluto is in the 64 again, and there is the first, I think it was the same as well, and then we have the 8 and the 2 in the Pearl sequence. There is something here, and also we have a completely open splenic center. So that's what I want to speak about, because it's when you don't have anything in a center, and I mean, this is part of my inquiry right now, and also my delight and fascination is maybe what I should say, because it's like you don't have a reference point for fear, really. It's like your soul worked through fear, and this is Holly too. I think she had the same. There's like, you can go through the world and you don't have the same instinctive response that other people have to things, and maybe your whole life is going to be around fear, because when you're in your not self, you feel all the fear from everybody around you. So these kinds of viruses and things could be horrible for you because you feel it from others. But in yourself, you don't even really have a reference point, because your soul worked through this before. And I would say, I mean, for this is in the not self is so important to really evaluate what's in your life, whatever lingers in your life, because the not self theme is holding on to things that are not good for you. So anything that lingers, whether it's, even the human design system, is this really helping me, or is this making me go to my head and, learn the theory? Anything that lingers in your life is good for you emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally, I guess. So to really see that, because you are going to possibly have things that you are not realizing that they're detrimental until they're out of your life. So make that inquiry, but also know that you're probably going to do things that other people are afraid of, and probably are going to be, you're going to have your special things that you're attracted to, and do those things. And especially, I would say, when you have open center, it's completely open. What I see is that often that's the genius. When you are more or less like more than 51% out of your not self, that's what you're going to serve the world with. That's what's going to come out in your pearl sequence. So here there's something with the divine will. I feel like there's so much femininity with the second gene key, the 8th gene key, the 40th gene key in your pearl sequence, that, and I don't know, Sabi might actually be a man, but there's just something with that water, that relaxation, that divine will, that is so powerful in the pearl sequence here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add for this one.
And maybe just the 5th lines. We want you to tap into your radiance and your purpose in the 5th line, in your vocation, in your attraction. It's important that you tap into your throat center. It's also defined in your chart. You have the whole channel of the creative road model, the 1 and the 8. So I would say anything that you can do to have determination and the mastery, that can, like, when you can tap into that 5th line in your radiance and purpose, in your sexuality, intimacy, in your vocation, that's really where your true power is. And I would do sounding, I would do emotional release, I would do anything where your vocal cords get the possibility to express themselves in unique ways.
Yes. Yeah. Mantras, anything. And make sure that too, that when you're speaking to others or to yourself, your actual voice, the tone of your voice can bring you down. So being really mindful about that emotional center, and when that wave is coming and you are in your emotions, that you sing something uplifting, or you sing some mantras or anything to get you kind of into that higher vocal tone frequency, so that you're not bringing yourself even more down. Oh, look at the 53 in the EQ again. We've seen that a couple times today.
Yeah.
Man, that one's coming up a lot. Thank you, Sabi, for sharing your charts with us.
And here, Ashley, we can only look at the gene key chart for Danielle, because it's Sabi's chart again, I think. So let's just look at.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, then let's go into just the gene key chart. We have the nomad and the EQ, the feminine and the attraction, and the influencer is in the evolution sphere. Wow, we have the originator twice in the pearl and the culture, and the nourisher in the vocation, and the warrior in the IQ. We've got a lot of archetypes, and the fire starter and the purpose. Like, if you want to go check out the 64 doors, Danielle, tons and tons of information on your particular gene key chart. Be super helpful for you to connect into each of these different spheres, because we've already unlocked so much of your chart for you. So you can go and read those and check those out and connect into those archetypes.
Yeah, the cross of contagion is super powerful here. So whatever you do in the world, you're going to be contagious. So please focus on something that is uplifting, so that people can have that from you, and not something that is lower frequency. Is what I feel. I see the 2.6 again in the attraction, and here there might even be Sedna, in the sexuality, and part of that disappointment, and how can you come back to innocence when you see a world where the feminine, the second gene key, is not completely honored, adored. It's not like equal to the masculine, for example. So I feel like when I look at this, it's so much. There's so much power. You have the power in your life's work, the pure sacral power. You have the fire starter, the pure fire, in like fire over fire and I Ching in your purpose. And what I feel like you want to unlock the 46, the pleasure of being here in physical form, and that Sedna, that come into the world and feel like sexuality is not always a 6 line. It's not always that ecstasy and that bliss. I feel like when you are able to tap into the 2 and the 46 at a deep level, then you originate anything in the world. And it's in the pearl, and it's in the culture. And you're here to be that voice, that power for originating something that comes from your own fire, your own Shakti, your own healing.
And because you have the 14 in your life's work and the 2 in your attraction, we know that you have the Keeper of the Keys channel. So you're here to have abundance is yours, as long as you're not compromising yourself and who you are, and really standing strong for like what you believe in and what's really burning your fire within you. You'll be able to be the person that has the resources to give to other people, to provide for other people, maybe in your relationships, or it looks like in your culture sphere, you're supposed to be originating things and starting things and pressing that go button with other people. So not just feeling like you have to do it alone. And it might be hard for you to want to let others in, especially with the betrayal that Sedna speaks of in the 2.6. I would definitely listen to that story that Midi told. It's on Unlock Your Design on this webpage, and you can go and tune into that. But I feel like if you were cut in the relationships, then that's how your mind is going to work too. And is that warrior, how is that warrior using their sword? Are you using that sword to cut other people? Are you using that sword to separate yourself from other people, dislocating yourself? Or are you ready to let others in? I mean, that hermit will stay in their little cave forever unless they're called out to kind of collaborate and contribute, because you definitely have something to share with the world. You have the vocation sphere of the nourisher, so you're here to tap into what does the world need from me, right? Because you have that ability to tap into the pod mind. So the things that you're going to be originating and generating for yourself and bringing in abundance and beautiful things for yourself, you can also do for the world. So how can you touch and impact the world? How can you make what you have created for yourself contagious? It's like, what's this virus that's running in your life that is just creating so much pleasure and excitement and fire, and how can you spread that fire to the rest of the world? Because the people need to hear and experience and feel what it is that's like burning at your soul.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. And I'm going to say one more thing. In your pathway of breakthrough, I feel like that's where you have much of the answer. You have the 46 and the 29, which is a channel, and it says, say yes to life force. Your breakthrough has to saying yes to life force. And it's where you are going to succeed where other people fail, because so many people aren't saying yes to their life force, to the rawness of being alive. And that's that for you is so important. And if you don't do that, you might fail where other people feel it's easy to succeed. So I feel like there's a very, very important thing for you here. That whole, the pathway of breakthrough is powerful. And that's where you also start unlocking that SQ in the middle. So two super powerful channels that are very tantric, the 14 with the 2 and the 46 with the 29.
The 46 and the 29 are right here, and then the 2 and the 14 right here. Obviously, this is not her chart, but it's right here. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing your chart with us, Danielle. And then Erica, you were asking about where to find Sedna video. It is on either our YouTube or on this page that we're streaming from. So you can find it there. Just go click on the video tab and Sedna shall be there.
I can probably get the
link.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
If you pull up the next one.
Okay, so this is, I don't know how to say her name, but she's an awesome, beautiful soul that shared in my group, Your Life by Design. She has the 8.6 as her life's work. So it'll be her birthday today, tomorrow, maybe the next day. So we're coming up on her birthday. So happy early birthday to you. She has the influencer archetype in her life's work. So this is her role in this lifetime. Is probably what you're going to see her as, like the work she's doing out into the world. Very unique style that is coming from the future. That 6th line has a vision for the future, a dream of the future, and they're bringing it here into their body. The way that she is able to manifest this uniqueness, this style, is through anchoring into this purpose of transparency. She's going to have to be transparent with herself, transparent with others. The way that she's going to be able to pull through a lot of this transparency is through mirroring with another person. So partnerships, relationships are really important because that's what's going to bring forth the things that are going to I don't know, either make her feel limited or make her feel expansive. Like magic can happen anywhere. She has this, I don't even remember what we called this archetype, but this one's the mystic. So she has the 60 in her attraction sphere. And so when she can be transparent, she can open this whole new realm of magic within her relationships. And her relationships are, she gets to choose because she's a first line in her attraction sphere. It's like, what is going to make her feel abundant? What is going to add to her soil, what is going to nourish and nurture her. And if she is in a restrictive, constrictive relationship, it's going to make her feel limitation. It's going to make her feel like I'd rather get out of here and replant myself somewhere else. So relationships are important here because it is all about what is going to allow you to grow and foster, and having that really strong influencer archetype in your life's work. It's important for you to accept and never compromise who you are. So if in a relationship you are compromising who you are, it's not going to be, why am I thinking of the word copacetic? I don't even know what copacetic means, but it's not going to be conducive for your growth. And then once you can kind of feel like you're creating this really stable, amazing, great container for yourself to kind of bloom in, that's where you're going to probably feel super inspired, and you're going to be able to connect to your purpose, to kind of be who you are. It's a pretty straightforward pathway of individuation. It's like, be transparent with who you are, be who you are, and you're going to be able to connect to your purpose, and magic is going to happen for you. So it's all about creating the container, being transparent, allowing that magic and inspiration to just alchemize within you, and that purpose is going to unfold and catalyze a lot of things to happen for you so that you can attract all the right people into your life through your fractal line, and so that you also are super tuned in and turned on to this purpose through your intuition. So lots of juicy, awesome things in this profile. What are you getting for
I'm getting that, I mean, this is 6-2 profile, so you're a role model, but I'm getting that with all the 5th lines that are in your human design, there's almost like there has been conflicts, misunderstandings, and compromises in your life. And it's like you don't really even know why. And you have an open throat, and it's almost like sometimes you don't understand why you're creating compromise, why you're creating misunderstandings and conflicts. And I feel like that is something, there are 2 ways that we would go back to finding your truth. So and they're saying the same thing, everything is hologenetic, and this is why Ashley and I bridged the gap between human design and gene keys. You can either go and look at your pearl sequence, and you're going to have all these splenic gates, the 57, the 28, the 44, it's smelling, it's feeling, it's sensing. about what is true for you, what feels right for you, what does your intuition tell you, what does your instinct tell you, what is it to feel with all your senses, what's right and wrong for you. And even when you speak, before you speak, are these the right people, is this the right environment, does this feel like purposeful, like all that, you can see it in the pearl sequence. That's what you navigate in the world. And when you navigate like that in the world, you are going to be rewarded in a way that it's not, where it doesn't feel like there's always people misunderstanding you. And we would go and look at the age profile, and it's the same thing. It says, okay, you are actually a generator, so you want to be in your sacral center, and look at all those activations, all these channels, or double channels, the 5734, that are connecting to the splenic center. You are here to be a sacral being, and you're all the time receiving information from that splenic center, the same keys that you see in your pearl sequence. So I would say, go back to your generator truth and get informed by your senses, by your instinct, by that, like knowing what to water. Don't water and speak where you're not going to be heard. That's the 32. Know where to water. Know what plants in the garden that you want to grow up, and be grounded in you and in your liberation and in your freedom, the 39, 55. Your emotions are going to fire right, is what I feel, when you really tap into what's your freedom, not what's your victimization, not everything that went wrong, not all the misunderstandings and the compromises. And I mean, maybe you have already overcome this somehow, but there's it sounds a little bit negative, but it's because it's so much power in coming back to your sacral grounding instinct and letting that liberation be your fuel. That's what I see in this chart.
And there's something to be said about, you brought up the 32, and I think it's so important. I wanted to speak for just one last time on the fifth lines, because it is about misunderstandings, but it's also about projections, and about like almost as a child being who your parents told you to be, instead of being your uniqueness, your own unique style. It's like, who did they tell you to be? The fifth line is a projection line. And then what are you carrying on? There's a lot of ancestral weight with the fifth line in the vocation sphere as well. I've been doing tons and tons of familial line clearing and healing, and talking with my mom, and us working through stuff in her relationships and my relationships, doing it together. And I think that's really important for you to look at, is looking at the maternal line, looking at the paternal line, seeing what's coming up there, because that is kind of like, oh, here's this record to keep playing. So are you wanting to water that and carry that on? Because your Pluto's your transformation, and this is what is going to help liberate you into this huge transformation that could happen in your life. So it is all about like traditions and what's being carried on. So like Bella was saying, what are you watering, and is it aligning with who you truly are?
Yeah, and it looks like you're born in 82 when I look at the nodes. So liberation is your north node, liberation 39.6. You're here to come to solutions in the world, but it comes from you not compromising. And you're a water dog, I think, in Chinese, in Chinese calendar. So you're not here to just be a dog. You're actually here to come back to your instinct, to come to be. It's so important for you to be to live with your intuition and being that sacral person. That's where your liberation come from. That's where your true friendships come from, and that's how you can truly role model something that is new in the world in your unique style. So important to come back to your generator truth. That's where your style, your liberation, and your ease in the world, because you have the 57 as your core wound. So you're here to have clarity, but it's based on following your intuition.
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing your chart with us. Then we have Lori. If we keep going, we might be able to squeeze in a few more, but we'll see. Lori, I've known her for a couple years now, but Lori shared her chart with us. She has the influencer in her radiant sphere and the fire starter in her evolution.
Actually, I feel there's something about the open throat here that I don't know, I feel like you would be able to speak to.
Well, I mean, it's open throat, open head, open ajna. I feel like being a channel is what comes to me. And also, discerning just like when she's a generator, so like when is it appropriate to speak, when is it appropriate to share, are you responding to something, do you have access to your throat, or are you trying to get attention? So I don't know, she is a beautiful channel. The things that you can bring through just come up and out of you, but you almost need to be responding to something to have access to plug into that. Pulling from thin air is just not going to serve you. There's a lot of activations in this in your throat as well, so it's all about like speaking on what you're enthusiastic about, being that voice of the leader in your own unique style and way. And what is that, the 33? Sharing your experiences, sharing the things that you've been through as well. What would you say? Oh, completely open root hanging out over here too. Hi, open centers. I don't know the pathway. I'm seeing her SQ though too. With this pathway to breakthrough. So she has this fire starter. It's almost like the fire is set, fire starter and the second line, lots of fire hanging out here. It's like, what are you committing to? What are you saying yes to? When you commit to something, does that fire start for you? And then boom, what is initiated for you? Are you taking initiative? Because this is what's going to then unlock your style and uniqueness, giving you access to this, to how you're going to be serving and giving to others, to the world, to yourself through your being, through your breath. So what would you say about this pathway of breakthrough, Bella, with the 30, 51, and the 8? Or what's showing up for you?
Yeah, well, I see you're supposed to have tons and tons and tons and tons of energy. You have the fire starter in your evolution, and you have your purpose is the 14, which is the, I guess we don't know what we're going to call it yet, but it has to do with power. And then you are a generator, so you are here to have so much energy. And if you don't have so much energy, like then it's you're somehow, and that's not strange because you have so many open centers, you're somehow leaking your energy to your open centers because there's no reason for there's so much energy in this chart. So I would say, and it has, the 50 stands out for me. There is something with you being true to you, to not be corrupted to who you truly are. I see it's in your pearl, and it's also it's in your north node, I think. Yeah, so there is something about you being true to you. And the same thing, the 32 we saw in the other chart. What are you watering? What are you watering that has a purpose for you? So I would just, again, completely invite you to come back to your generator truth. What is the 12? What was the 214? What does that mean for you to be the keeper of the keys? What are you unlocking? And then the 5027, which is the other channel. What does it mean to be, and here I feel like it has, the corruption could be about, you giving to others and you giving to you, or the corruption of thinking that other people should give to you, being a 2-4, like expecting other people to fulfill you, but you are here to fulfill yourself first. That is the 5027. It will be corrupted to think that other people are here to fulfill you. And the biggest challenge for a 2-4 is to be disappointed with others. So we really want you to come back to your own fulfillment. And you're here to, like the 16 in your attraction too, you're here to be playful. You're here to be versatile. You're here to have a million skills. And that's cool, but make sure that you trust your own ability to fulfill yourself first.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your chart with us, Lori. Bella, did you want to do a few more? Do you think? I have let's see. I have 2 that we can go into, one from your chart and one that posted on Unlock Your Design.
Yeah, sure.
Let's just go into it. Okay.
We always say 30 minutes and then we end up doing.
This one is a little bit, there was a lot. We're not even there's so much more. So many more profiles. So again, if we didn't get to you, I am sorry, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Actually, we're saying too that we're going to open up to do shorter readings with people. So actually, we would record the readings for you, and that would be 15, 20 minutes. And we are, I don't even know if we decided a price for it, but just so if you're watching that, you know that you don't have to sign up for a whole reading. It feels like this is valuable for many people. So if you want to like a kind of dive in recorded for you, 15, 20 minutes, that's going to be possible.
Yes. Yeah. So reach out to us if that's something that you want to do. And we'll talk out the details with you. So like Bella said, 15 to 20 minutes. We'll dive into your chart. We'll we'll record it. We'll send it to you. It'll be easy peasy. We should be able to get through those by the time the 8 is out of transit too, possibly. We'll see. And yeah, so reach out to us if we didn't get to your chart. Here are the other ones that I was able, not invite. You know, it would be so cool if we can invite somebody to like be on with us. Because there's a lot of people. Erica was here. We could have gotten Erica on because I accidentally hit the invite button instead of.
If we do from Zoom, we can just send people the Zoom link, but then we won't see the comments. So I don't know. It's
okay, let me make this bigger.
This is my incarnation cross, I guess. No, the first one.
No? What?
No. Oh, okay. I saw something with a 7.
Yeah, yes, you did. It was this one. This is Nia. She's in your group. I think she's in your group. Yeah, she's in your group, I believe. She commented on your post. She was one of the few people to give both human design and gene keys. Did you want me to send you these in Messenger, or can you see it?
Yeah, I think it would be easier if I saw them.
Okay, I'll send it to you right now. There you are. 1 second, everybody.
Well, I can start saying she's a Sphinx, so she should look into what it is to be a Sphinx.
Yes, just like Bella, only mirror. So the first 2 that I sent you were Nia, and then here's the second chart we're going to read with it. Okay, so let me look at these. So 7. So this person has, again, we have the role model. Sorry, not the role model. The influencer sitting in the SQ, so the core. Let's see what else we have. We have the confidant sitting in the pearl, the confidant again in the evolution, and the feminine archetype. So she's got the feminine archetype in her soul, in her body. It's a little bit different than yours, Bella, but she does have the same profile as you. She's a 4/6, but with her role in this world is to be that leader, that giving that guidance. But the only way that you're going to be able to do that is when you're able to do it for yourself. So the way that you're able to be that role, that guide in the world is through first being able to ride your waves of melancholy, of creation. You're not always going to have that spark of creation where you're like, oh, I can share this with the world. You're going to go through these ups and downs. Happens. I mean, this one kind of models what it's like to be pregnant. You're going to have this pregnant phase and then this birthing phase. So know and understand your cycles, and then you will be able to also unlock this adventure, this boundlessness. First, it's going to feel like you're hungry for more in your relationships, but eventually, hopefully, it'll turn you back into yourself where you're going to be hungry for your own heart. And what's going to open up when you find yourself in your heart is you're going to find your uniqueness. You're going to find that influencer archetype within yourself so that you can then share that with the world from your heart. And having that 4th line in your SQ, it's important for you to have community, build community. You're going to be great at allowing and making people feel like they belong. And the way that you're going to have access to your vocation sphere, your core wound of repression, is through you completely and honestly accepting yourself. So when you come into this radical self-acceptance, you're going to be able to transmute anything that you have repressed within you. And if you can remain optimistic about your past, about the things that you've heard, about the things that other people have told you about the past, about any of that, then you're going to be able to move forward with direction in your life so that you are able to be that role model, be that leader, be that server in the world. What would you say about this, with it being your cross, Bella?
Yeah, I feel there is a lot of definition. So you have a personality. You're a Sphinx, you have personality.
Oh, tons of definition. Wow.
So I feel you have the 35 and the 36. So you're here to experience things that are not the 6 line is always going to make you experience, right? Because the first 30 years are only about experience, and then you tap into the more role model, or like you go up on the roof and you kind of realize what works, what doesn't work, and you come down again. So here with the 34, so 35, 36, which is all about about experience, you are going to experience things that are not only for your learning, but for humanity. It's a collective circuitry. And what I feel, it's so important for you that you have so much definition, you have so much strength, you have so much energy comes from you and out in the world, but that could all collapse if you take that 35, 36 and you would say, oh my God, I failed again, or I can't believe it, I'm still not learning. So that you would fall into the not self of the worthiness and the not enoughness of the open ego. And that could even be like, I can see some violence against yourself because the 21 and the 51, they are super, there's a lot of thunder in the elements there. So you could shake yourself, but you're like, I would say, know that you're here to experience things that are for the collective. It's not only for you, and never ever blame yourself for all these things, because you could go into confusion and oppression in the 64, 647, that you would like, your head would make you think it's wrong, but it's not wrong. You're here. Instead, again, go back to that 5734. That for me is your truth. The knowing, the intuition in the now, the intuition from the body. And then you're going to have in that 360 channel from the sacral to the root, pulsating, you're going to mutate this world from your pulsations. But it comes from a place, it really comes from a place of being a generator again, and allowing all these experiences to inform you and to enrich you instead of judging yourself for them.
I love everything you mentioned. And I really appreciate the focus of her life is all on like, what can I learn about worthiness? Because that's the only open center that she has. So it's beautiful to know that you're defined everything everywhere else, and the only focus and wisdom you're here to gain is through this worthiness. And it's not even about, you can just say, I'm worthy, I'm innately worthy, I'm good, I don't need to compete, I don't need to compare, everything is good to go. I mean, you do have the 51, so that's a little bit competitive, but I would say that you're here to teach people about worthiness as well, because that's your only open center. So if you can glean wisdom from the relationships that you have and the people that you're serving and the community that you're in, I would take it in, be that screen door, read it, and be like, okay, here's what I learned about worthiness through you and all this stuff. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool just seeing one here. It makes it a little bit easier to focus on things. But your defined centers, just so that everybody knows, your defined centers can be deconditioned as well. It's not just like about, the conditioning of the open centers. There's a lot that we need to reprogram in our defined centers as well. All right. Well, thank you, Nia, for sharing your chart with us. The next person we have is Tom. He was actually the very first person to share his chart with us on our Unlock Your Design page when we first put up the event. So he has it in, he is a 3-5 profile, has the influencer archetype in his evolution sphere. Looks like he has the originator in his EQ. We also have the fire starter in the purpose sphere and the warrior in the pearl.
I feel here too that people could sometimes not really be like, there could be almost conflict. People would not always resonate with you, and you're here to be you is kind of what I feel. You have a lot of integration circuitry, the 20, the 10, and the 40, yes, the 34. You are, and also the third line core. The people are gonna try to shame you and say that you're not consistent and that you're always doing it your way, and why are you escaping? Like, I feel like people could react to this chart quite a lot, and you would be like, well, I'm just trying to do like my thing. Why are you so hard on me almost? But you are powerful. The 14 and the 8 are both your sun and your earth and the nodes on the personality side. So there is just a lot of power here. And I would be the third line for me is like, you're not here to live with an agenda or to live with consistency. You're here to break out of that need for approval or attention and live the life in the dynamic way you're here to live, the way that your energy wants to move. And I would say you're here to connect tantrically with people, because the 5, the 14, and 29 hanging gates are just waiting for that connection. So like, I feel like relationships are actually where you're going to feel your life force the most. So to overcome either the shame or the blame that other people put on you, because you're not like they want you to be, and actually find the fractal that you have in your Saturn, the 444. That the stability comes from finding those fractal people that really get you and they want to merge with you and want to feel your rhythm and feel your keys and feel your yes, because that is the 5, the 14, and the 29, and that's an amazing experience together with the other. But you kind of have to say, I'm this kind of an animal. Don't expect me to be the way that you want me to be.
Yeah. Yep. And I also wanted to touch on and mention the channel of perfection. I think that's what it's called, the 5818. And he's got the 2838 and the 4130. There's a lot of definition and strengths that you have among these three centers as well. So like, again, knowing what the problem is and how to fix it. And it may feel like, oh, you're being a little bit nitpicky or whatever, but you have solutions. I mean, the other day I was telling Bella about like, it was like graphic design and branding. I'm like, they did this wrong and this is bad. And I'm like, oh my God, listen to myself. I'm being really nitpicky. But honestly, I just see what's wrong with it. And so you have that ability to be able to see what's wrong with things and how we can correct it, how we can fix it. And just make sure that you're not pointing that finger or blame on yourself, because you do have the 18.1 in your moon. So this is what drives you. So like repressing, turning that inward is going to be very unhealthy for you. And with what Bella was saying about your design and people kind of like either liking you or not liking you and calling you out, you're like, I'm just trying to be myself. Don't beat yourself up for being yourself. That's why your evolution is 8.3. It's like, can you come into this like acceptance of who you are and your uniqueness? You're a trailblazer. You're different. You are the cross of contagion. What are you spreading? So yeah, I think it's a really cool, very defined design. You also are here to know, like, pick your battles. Again, like when people come at you and try to shut you down or shame you or whatnot, is it worth it or not? You know which fight is worth it. You know what juice is worth the squeeze. So allow yourself to have that discernment. And just pick your battles. And again, let that fire within you allow you to originate, to start things, to press that go button. Don't shame yourself or keep yourself from showing up, because that fifth line is very magnetic as well, but it is in your body. So it's kind of like you have to feel into, are you ready? Are you ready to have impact? Are you ready to share that with the world? Can you accept and love yourself completely? The only thing you have in your G center is the 10, which is all about self-love. Can you love yourself in the now? Can you love yourself in the now? Can you do things in the now? How is that showing up for you? And that's all I have to say about that. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would say, Bella, or do you feel complete with this?
No, I like this chart. I would like to know what he's doing in his life. Like I'm curious about this person. I'm like, what are you doing? I want to know.
What are you doing? I want to know. Well, everybody, if we didn't end up getting to your chart, reach out to us. We do have a special going on. We'll do a 20-minute recorded reading. We'll send it to you. I'd say, let's just say it's $44 and it's going to be about 20 minutes. So me and Bella will do that and deliver it to you. All you have to do is give us your charts, and that's it. And it'll be easy peasy. So if you're new to this journey, if you're new to us and you're wanting to experience this and have us illuminate some of the stuff in your chart, I would definitely reach out to us. This is for the 8, but if you're on here and you feel really pulled, still reach out to us. We're going to have this offer go until the weekend, and then it won't be here anymore. So just really, it's about reaching out to us. We'll send you the link. We'll deliver you all the goods, and you have until Sunday to reach out to us if we didn't get to you. And I look forward to connecting with all of you. If you are interested in doing a full chart reading, we do those as well. Reach out to us if you want to do that. We have somebody that we are reading tomorrow, so look for that live tomorrow. We're going to go into a whole design, one person tomorrow. That'll be fun. So thank you so much for joining us live and for staying till the end too. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And liberate your influencer. Connect to, embody, liberate that influencer. You have a couple days to really get that just flowing and pumping in your body and in your being so that you can bring it out into the world. So connect to that, allow it to come out, and be that trailblazer, be that influencer, and share that with the world. You are amazing, and we need to see more of your light. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Bella. Bye, everybody.